Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Friday Ramblings. I am your host, the one who rambles, especially on Fridays. That makes me the Bardic one. Here as always, and we are going to discuss a topic that is a bit of a flashback to the earliest episodes of this channel. One of the first episodes I discussed was the DS, or was it 3DS? Let me double check that real quick. 3DS, yes, that's right. This one was 3DS era, but still, the Nintendo 3DS game Project Cross Zone. Now, I've tried to avoid discussing it as much as possible because, I didn't want it becoming almost a running joke of the channel, and there's so much entertainment out there, but it's been over 220 episodes since we talked about it, so we're gonna go back just a little bit. There's a lot of people that probably did not see the original episode. I'm not going to completely retread the content. We're going to do a little bit of a twist. Real quick, general breakdown of it. Project Cross Zone is a tactical RPG style game produced by Bandai Namco, Capcom, and Sega. Developed by Monolith Soft and Banpresto. The game features a mix of original characters as well as icons of various video games from the three aforementioned companies interacting in a new world against new threats. Now, Project Cross Zone is technically the second game in the Direct series, as the original one, which did not have the involvement of Sega, was called simply Namco Cross Capcom. And there was a direct sequel, Project Cross Zone 2. Now, Namco Cross Capcom was actually developed for the PlayStation, so a little bit of hardware jumping, but Project Cross Zone is what we're here to discuss. As I said, it's a crossover. It features a huge roster of characters from various franchises from different game companies. So what we're going to do real quick is break down the characters that are crossing over and just giving you what, for at least me as a personal gamer, was the characters who helped grab my attention and get me to give the game a chance. I'm not a big tactical game person to start with. There's a couple of them I like. I enjoy a handful of Fire Emblem games. Some of them, frankly, are a little too hard for me because I'm not super tactically minded by nature. It's not my forte as a gamer. But I enjoy some of them. I enjoy the lore of all of them. But, it's a thing. This game, as I was, drew me in because of its crossover format. And that's why I thought it would be interesting to break down the characters that may or may not have gotten me to give it a chance and may get you intrigued in it as well, as it's a chance to play familiar characters in a brand new setting. Now, I do encourage you, if any of this sounds interesting, to go way back into the archives and check out my original video discussing this game in particular to give you a little more insight into it so you can hunt down a copy and check it out. Alright, as I said, we're going to skip the original characters and we're going to skip, I don't know, depending on how quick we get through protagonist list or the good guy list, I may go into the bad guy list because there's crossover characters of those two, of course. We're just kind of free-forming this. Should be a fun little chaotic trip here. But no, we're going to skip the original characters because they're not guest stars. They're originals, so they wouldn't be catching your attention as, hey, I know that character. It'd be fun to play that character in something else. Kind of defeats the purpose of the gimmick of the episode. Woohoo. So there you go. First up, from Super Robot Taisen OG Saga Endless Frontier, Haken Browning and Kaguya Nanbu. Now this game, the greater Super Robot Taisen or Super Robot Wars, depending on the country you're in, franchise is a big deal to gamers who like their tactical stuff, who like their mecha stuff. And that name in and of itself is going to draw some attention. The OG Endless Frontier game in particular is a little bit of a weird one. That's kind of why we're starting off with this, in that it is a game that actually stars some of the original characters of the Cross Zone series. So it's almost a bit of a linked game. It's like it's a game that kind of like bridges the gaps between the two franchises. So, that game actually worked in reverse. I played Project Cross Zone first, and later down hunted a copy of Endless Frontier because I liked the characters of Haken and Kaguya and wanted to see more of their adventures. So that game kind of worked in reverse. Now we're going to be breaking this down real quick. I should go ahead and say this. I'm going to be kind of bouncing back and forth between some of these franchises because the list I'm going through is organized both by company and the game. Your main playables are pair units, two characters working together, but then you have the option of pairing up the pairs. Yes, I know what I said. It makes sense. With an additional solo unit, and those are a little bit later in my list. So we're going to go through the pair units by company and then the solo units by company. So forgive me if I bounce back and forth between the franchises. I'm going by the list I've got. It's, it's just the way that data is organized. From Tekken, we have Jin Kazama and Ling Xiaoyu. Now, I was familiar with Tekken. I had previously played Tekken 3 and the original Tekken Tag Tournament a little bit in arcades. So these were characters I was intrigued by. I have since, in more recent times, gotten back into Tekken with Tag Tournament 2 and Tekken 7. So, while the characters did intrigue me a little bit, again, this game kind of drew me back into the Tekken franchise after several years away from it. Cosmos and Telos from Xenosaga. Wasn't familiar with the Xenosaga. I'm mildly intrigued by it now, but they are fun characters. Yuri Lowell and Estelle, I'm not going through her full name, it's a mouthful, from Tales of Vesperia. I was familiar with the Tales games in general, so this one did provide a little bit of intrigue to me. I have since played through Vesperia in particular, so good times. Again, mild intrigue. From the Dot Hack games, Kite and Black Rose. I was not familiar with their particular games, but I am familiar with the Dot Hack anime. So, again, mid-level intrigue. But mid-level intrigue is enough because that gets you curious. And curiosity is how people try out games. From the God Eater franchise, Soma and Alyssa. I had heard of the God Eater franchise, but I had not played them before this game. So, no initial intrigue there. Although, again, playing the characters in this game has gotten me to look into the God Eater series more. So, reverse intrigue. Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter. Everybody knows Street Fighter. We've discussed Street Fighter on this channel. I have streamed some Street Fighter games on this channel. Obviously, Ryu and Ken are going to get my eye, as well as our next pair, which is Chun-Li from Street Fighter, and Morrigan from Darkstalkers. I knew of Darkstalkers a little bit, not nearly as much as Street Fighter, but again, anybody familiar with the fighting franchises, the fighting genre, especially Capcom's entries, knows Morrigan, as she shows up in various other crossover games that are more fighting genre focused. She's a bit of an icon character. For Mega Man X, we have the titular X and his partner Zero. Again, this is a big intrigue entry like the previous couple mentioned. I knew Mega Man X. I've played Mega Man X. These are characters that grabbed my attention. Frank West from Dead Rising and Sin Ko from the aforementioned Darkstalkers. Again, knew a little bit about Darkstalkers, did not know much about Dead Rising at the time. Little intrigue. Dmitry Maximov from Darkstalkers. You know, it's funny. A series that Capcom doesn't want to make any sequels of, but they sure love using those characters in crossovers. Kind of sad, but yet hopeful. Teams up with Dante from Devil May Cry. I was mildly familiar with Devil May Cry. I've never owned and played through any of the games, but I do know of Dante as a character. Little intrigue. Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. Again, now we're talking big name icon characters. I've said this before, generally I prefer for a pure gaming side, especially something you can just pick up and play real quick when you have a little time to kill, the House of the Dead series, but nothing but respect for Resident Evil. They are great games when you want to sit down and play a little longer and have a little more of a think things through experience. Chris and Jill are the icon players. Happy to see them here. Now we're getting your attention. Ichiro Ogami and Sakura Shinjuji. We're just going to stick with Sakura. Is one pair and is joined by the other pair of Gemini Sunrise and Erica Fontaine from the various Sakura Wars games. Was not familiar at all with Sakura Wars outside of it being a franchise referenced in various articles before this game, but they were fun characters. Not much intrigue there as far as me wanting to give the game a chance because of those characters. Remember, that is what we're ranking them on. How familiar I was with the characters. Kurt Irving and Riala from Valkyria Chronicles 3. Yes, I am horrible at pronouncing names. I apologize. Another series I was not familiar with. Not a draw for me personally, but I have heard a lot of good things about the series. So, good props. Toma and Sorel from Shining Force EXA. I do know the Shining Force series, not the game in particular, but Shining Force I do know is a franchise. Little intrigue. From Resonance of Fate, Zephyr and Leanne. No intrigue. Didn't know the game before X Cross Zone. I don't know. I call it X Zone for short because that's the way they spell it. Project X and then Zone. I know. It should be Cross Zone because it's a crossover game. Peasy. I've since learned Resonance of Fate does have quite a good cult audience, and they were excellent characters, both to play with and to see their interactions with other characters. So good for Zephyr and Leanne. On to the solo units. From a different Super Robot Wars game, the main original generation series, we have Songer Zonvolt. Again, knew of Super Robot Wars as a reference, so not much there. Flynn from Tales of Vesperia joins us. We've discussed that one. From The Legend of Valkyrie, the Valkyrie herself. Again, a game I didn't much know of. I'd seen screenshots over the years, but that was it. Not much intrigue. From Eumeria, the character of Neneko, aka Nito, don't know. Didn't know her, but now I'm happy to. Also joining us from Tekken, Alyssa Boskanovich and Heihachi Mishima. We've discussed Tekken, good intrigue. Lindau also joins us from God Eater. Alright, now we're having some fun with Capcom solo unit entries. Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins. Yes, now we're getting it. An icon of icons, especially for the 8 and 16-bit era. Arthur, the brave knight who likes to get knocked out of his armor and into his boxers before he gives up the ghost. See what I did there? This is a character that is going to catch my attention and make me intrigued what he is doing in game with all these other wacky characters. Good job. Did not know Cyberbots, let alone the character of Princess Develotte de Death Satan the Ninth. So, sorry, she didn't draw me into the game before I played it. From Mega Man Legends, Tron Bonne with her Serve Bots as backup. I knew of this game. It wasn't my favorite Mega Man game, but any Mega Man representation is going to catch my eye. Little intrigue. Devil May Cry joins us one more time with Lady. Again, mild intrigue. Rival Schools gives us Batsu Ichamonji. Had heard of it in a couple magazine articles. That was it. Minimal interest. Street Fighter comes at us again with Juri Han. Good times. We all love Street Fighter. Valkyria Chronicles 3 shows up one more time with Imka. Space Channel 5 gives us Ooh La La. We all know Space Channel 5, one of the, at least here in America, earliest rhythm games. Ooh La La was the mascot icon character, the pink-haired reporter with all the moves and the mini skirt with the sci-fi twist to back it up. Nothing wrong with zero gravity skirt. Hey, worked on the Jetsons. So, Ooh La La, a little bit of intrigue. The infamous Dynamite Cop, the game that is Die Hard in the Eastern countries, gave us Bruno Dellinger, the officially not Bruce Willis's character. Here in America, new of the game as a trivia fact, little intrigue, but he ended up being a fun character. From Zombie Revenge, which is a House of the Dead spinoff and therefore catches my eye, Rikiya Busujima. Residence Fate returns with Vashron. Again, didn't know of it. Bon shows up from the Fighting Vipers series. A series I knew of, but hadn't played before. Just a little spark of intrigue. Let's run here through real quick. We're going to actually skip around a bit, and we're only going to discuss the antagonists, or rivals, as the game likes to call them, that I did know and thus helped draw me in to give this game a chance, because that really is the point of any good crossover game. We had from Street Fighter, Seth, Resident Evil, The Nemesis, Ghosts and Goblins. Gave us the Shielder and Astaroth. Mega Man X had Vile show up. Vidoral from Virtua Fighter showed up. Wait, did we not? Sorry, I got myself confused here, folks, trying to scroll too fast. as well as your lesser mook units from various games. It was fun beating up on, let's see, where's my master list here? I know you're here somewhere. The Red Arimer and Zombies from Ghosts and Goblins. The Reaverbot from Mega Man Legends. The Gunbolts from Mega Man X. The Tyrant in a couple different classes from Resident Evil. And doop a doop 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 doop. Where are you at? I know you're here. The Morolians from Space Channel 5 showed up to play with us. All good times. As well as we got a little NPC representation with Iris from Mega Man X4 and Aura from the Dot Hack series. It was fun to see them to help push the storyline along. So, there you go. As I said, we skipped over the original characters and some of the bad guys that were not familiar to me before I played the game. But still, with the characters I mentioned, you got Street Fighter representation, you got Mega Man representation, you got Ghosts and Goblins representation, you got Tekken representation. For those of you who are familiar with the franchise, you got characters from Super Robot Wars all over the place. You got Devil May Cry busting into the house. There is a lot of characters here that should convince you to give this game a chance, because you're not just getting a chance to play these characters, you're seeing them in an original setting, which means, and again, I touch on this in the old video, you get to have some fun with the characters. See them interact with characters that not only do they not interact with outside of this series, but aren't even part of genres or worlds that they would normally be familiar with. There's a lot of good humor in this game. Yes, there is a sequel. I may go through that master list in a sequel episode. Ooh. And who knows? We may even discuss that prototype Namco Cross Capcom game in the future too, a little bit more. Still, we have a little bit more of 2023 to get through first. I'm not going to overload you with the cross-zone love, because, as I said, I don't want this channel to feel like it's too heavily pushing any one thing. I'm a man with a lot of varied hobbies in entertainment. That's why my channel does what it does. Plus, I figure if I touch on various aspects of the entertainment world, you're not going to have to go more than a few episodes before you find something that is your cup of tea. And we do like having cups of tea around here. Nothing wrong with that. Especially good hot tea. You know, little dash of milk in there. Nice time. No matter what, though, I want you to have nice times. We still have our Thanksgiving episode to go. It's going to be a little intriguing. A little different from some of the previous Thanksgiving episodes I've done. And then we have 5 Fridays in December. We may even do something Christmas related. So tune in every week. If you have something in particular you'd like me to discuss that I have not, feel free to let me know. I do have the social medias, or you can just plain throw a comment down below. But make sure you click your notifications and your subscription so you never miss an episode. Feel free to tell your friends if there's an episode you particularly like or you think they would like. Because the more we grow, the more we can all make sure we are being entertained by our entertainment, which is the way it should always be. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you in 7. Bye-bye, folks.